Hey guys, I am so honored and happy to announce that I am now an ambassador for Ibu, which is an amazing organization that helps women all across the world with support to grow their own businesses as designers and artisans. And I am very excited today because I will be doing a Zoom conference with the founder of Ibu, Susan, as well as a designer named Muhayo, who I discovered through Ibu. And she's working on a piece right now for me that I am so over the moon excited to see. A lot of work and time goes into one single piece, and this is something that she's been working on, and I'm so excited to show it to you guys. So today you'll be hearing about Muhayo, her story, and the story of Ibu. And this is not just a one-off thing. This will be a continuation, and we're going to follow Muhayo through her journey and through her design process and how she works and creates to support a business and how Ibu helps other women as well. So stay tuned to hear more about Muhayo and Ibu.
So it is really such a joy to get together with both of you. I wanted to introduce my friend of many years, Muhayo Aliyeva, who is in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and Madison Headrick, who is a model whose work I have long admired, originally from Charleston, I do believe. It's just a pleasure to be able to talk with both of these guests. I'm here in the Ibu studio. I'm Susan Walker, founding Ibu about 7 years ago to work with women artisans all over the world. And we are now in many different countries, but have entered into this collaboration with Madison and Muhayo to really highlight the work that Muhayo is doing. And Madison is here to learn more and to really be a champion of her efforts, which we are so delighted to kind of sponsor and have help happen. So let's begin. Muhayo, I would love for you to tell us more about what you're doing and how and where, and just a little bit about your work and how you got into it.
At Bibi Hanum, we produce clothing and accessories using hand-woven ikat silk fabric, and we also use embroideries with some of our garments. We have come to become Bibi Hanum since 2006. That's when I started the work, and ever since childhood I loved making clothes, and we worked with my sister. My sister studied at tailoring school, and she was a professional tailor, but I really loved creating some designs, and then she would make it happen. So my father saw us doing this work together, and he would say, you know, I'm going to open a workshop for you guys so you can produce things. And but his dream never came true. And so in 2006, I went to school to study business, and at the university here at Westminster University, and I did a short course on how to create your own business, and I came up with a business plan, which was very inspiring, and they gave me a reward for it, you know, for the business plan. And I said, you know, this is a great opportunity to open the workshop, because, you know, they valued it so highly. Why not do it? And at the same time, I was facing, my sisters were facing some difficulties in their lives, and I really wanted to create something together so they could be involved in this work they would be working. So that was the idea behind it, and I really wanted to help them. Not only my sisters, but also, you know, I saw an opportunity to create some work for women in general, because I thought working women have better lives. Back in 2006, we opened our workshop in my mom's garage. We worked there for some time, and then until the place got demolished and we had to find a better place. Our work was developing and we were growing. So we moved to a new place, and in 2015, where we had a big workshop. We even had a big place to open our shop as well. So this is how it all started.
That's amazing. I love your story and I love your passion and your drive. You can really see that in your creations as well. And doing something with family is also very exciting, and just being creative and using your abilities and your skills, and it's really inspiring. And again, you can see that through your creations. Everything's so beautiful. And actually, I was wondering, what is the traditional process that you go through for dyeing and weaving and doing everything? Because you do most things are all handmade, right?
Yeah. I have to tell you that I'm not a weaver.
Mm-hmm.
I do work with the artisans who create the fabric for us, and it's a very complicated process. Ikat itself comes with a Malay word, mengikat, meaning tying and dyeing. It's a 32 steps process, and all of the fabric is created in different workshops in the Fergana Valley. It's the center of the textiles in Uzbekistan.
That's amazing. And so much work and so much passion goes into making just one piece. It's really amazing, and it's such a reflection of the skill and the creativity and the culture of the textiles. Where with all of these steps and through this whole process, where do you find your inspiration for the designs? Because I'm sure there's lots of people, like Susan said, trying to replicate it, but yours is special because it comes from you. Where do you find inspiration? How do you come up with a piece?
I guess it's just a natural thing that sometimes you just fall in love with some pattern and you want to create it. But at the same time, I love photography, and I do photograph a lot of nature, and I love working with colors and experiment with colors. And I do look up a lot of things from historical books. I love looking at historical costumes, and especially the ikat costumes. And love to recreate those patterns and then play with colors.
Segueing into the business side, how did you meet Susan? How did you come into contact with Ibu, and how has Ibu grown and helped your business?
You know, it was a nice meeting we had. I participated at New York show, New York Now Artisan Resource Show. I met Susan there, and she stopped and she was amazed by what we had. And, you know, she said, "No, I really want to work with you if you want, because, you know, I would rather work with a woman who runs the business as opposed to men. You know, what do you think?" And I said, "Of course, I would love to work." And, you know, ever since then, you know, our collaboration hasn't stopped. It actually grew. Every year we're developing new things. We became really good friends. And, you know, Ibu has been a great friend of Bibi Hanum in terms of business, in terms of partnership, in terms of sponsorships. I mean, we just so grateful that we have been in collaboration with Ibu. Susan is amazing. I just love reading her blog regularly when she sends emails. I'm just inspired by how passionate she is, how passionately she supports women businesses, women artisans, and in general the artwork that creates, that they sell, they support all these ladies. It's just amazing. It's very inspirational.
So inspirational, and just seeing like your world and her world like collide, and it's just like grown into something just so beautiful, and it's really inspiring. And I'm sure for all the women out there that may have ideas of starting something, but may not have the resources or know where to start. Like, this is such a great example for other women as well, which I think is amazing. Do you have maybe some advice for a woman who might be starting a brand?
You know, first of all, being a woman is already a full-time job. It's a very difficult position in general to try to balance work and family. It requires a lot of, you really have to love what you're doing so that you can be very strong and not to fail. I mean, even if you have failures, you have the ability to get up and go. You know, you really have to develop that kind of, what do you call, ability to be able to continue what you are doing, especially when you face difficult timings like we are facing at the moment. My baby just walked in.
Full-time job being a woman.
Okay.
I think that word you were reaching for is resilience. That women, I see in you and so many women that we work with everywhere, as you say, you meet challenges and then you keep going, or you get knocked down and you get back up because your family is at stake and because you must. I mean, that's just what I think women, and particularly the women artisans with whom we work, I'm always struck with how resilient they are and how much is required of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The artisan sector, I mean, you know, Susan, because you work with artisans. It's a very, very challenging work. No wonder very few people actually work in this sector. Very few people decide to do something like this because of the hardship and the expenses. I mean, it's not an easy or cheap work. It's not a factory that you manufacture in hundreds of items in a day. One item takes a lot of time to create. Because of that hardship, not many people actually decide to work in the sector, but it's very rewarding when you actually see the results. And when you see people who are supporting this kind of work, people are understanding it slowly, but surely people are getting there. They're appreciating the slow fashion, they're appreciating the handmade, and they're appreciating the labor behind the women who are working. They want to understand how ethical their product is. Who has made this garment? They want to know what's the story behind that garment. And so this is very inspiring to continue your work when you actually see the results. The things that we create together with Ibu, for example, when I see the pictures that they post on their blogs, the photo shoots that they do, beautiful garments that we have created. They are being worn on stars, or prominent designers are wearing the things that we have done. It's just so inspirational. It wants you to create even more. It wants you to grow. It just doesn't allow you to stop. You know,
Madison, don't you think that the fashion world is catching up with what Muhayo's been doing all along, in the sense of wanting to really honor slow fashion, fashion that doesn't damage the earth, that is sustainable, that recognizes the artisans behind it? You know, I remember last September when Vogue had their issue and they asked 100 designers, what's the future of fashion? And these were the themes that were repeated throughout that article. The responses were really along that vein. And I thought, my goodness, I mean, Muhayo and many of the artisans with whom we work are doing this already. And I think it really is a moment where people are recognizing that and the value of what you're bringing.
Yes, 100%. I think that, you know, our world has changed so much in the last year with COVID, with like police brutality, with politics. Like, there's so many negative things that have been happening. And for me personally, fashion has always been something creative, something exciting. Like there's no better feeling in the world than putting on a brand new pair of shoes. But the fashion industry has had to adapt to this, right? Like the fashion industry can't be so, we're not like curing cancer. We're not, you know what I mean? We're providing people with something that makes them feel good, but there's got to be something more than that, right? To make a difference in the fashion industry. And, you know, things like this, like designs from different cultures and like promoting different cultures. And it's also educating. Like to me, I had no idea about this process, but just from this story, like it makes me, when I wear something, knowing that it's either benefiting our planet and helping environmentally, or it's helping another woman create her own business and become independent, or if there's a story behind it, it makes people more passionate about the fashion industry itself. And knowing that what you're wearing not only makes you feel good, but is making a difference is huge. And I think that the fashion industry is definitely veering more that way, which I find really special, especially during this time.
This is a great coming together of that right here. And speaking of those challenges of the past year, of course, we've all been living through the pandemic, and I wanted to ask Muhayo how that has affected you and your group. I know, obviously, some great hardship, but will you talk a little bit about that?
Actually, COVID has affected us dramatically. Not only us, but I would say the whole artisan sector is suffering because we're dependent on tourism in the first place. Majority of the artisans are dependent on tourism, on trade shows. Us, we have been affected because we also stopped our trade shows. We are depending only with those who have been working with us in the past, and with that online orders, we have been surviving. We lost some of our employees because we could not maintain them financially, unfortunately. So that also has affected our work. It has affected the pace. We are much slower in working at the moment. In comparison how we used to work, we were doing several shows during the year, and we were getting new clients, and we were getting lots of groups in our workshop. Everything has just stopped completely, and whatever we have accumulated, we had to support our ladies, because our ladies were dependent on the work that they were doing with us. So when everything has stopped, we had to continue working. We had to provide their salaries so that, you know, they're still keeping their jobs. Fortunately, you know, thanks to our sponsors and, you know, those people, I had to reach out. You know, at one point I said, you know, I might have to shut down because I could not continue financially. Everything was just coming to a zero. And so I just had to, you know, create this campaign on GoFundMe. And then I had to come up with a letter to our friends and clients I had to reach out and say, you know, we may face shutdown if we can't get some help. So people, you know, started getting some orders for us, and people started helping financially. Ibu has given us great support right at the moment when we need it. You know, on top of everything, we also had faced some problems with our workshop. We're still trying to solve that problem. We're working on getting a new space for us. And we have not completely shut down. Our ladies are working from home. My sister is doing the patterns, and then the ladies are coming together. They're taking work home and they're working from home, and we have been delivering things on time, and we are coping. We are maintaining our work. We have not completely shut down. We're still thankful that we are still working.
I remember
But
your beautiful
then-
workshop. It really was a fabulous space, and I was so sorry when I heard that it was being not available for you any longer. And that was when the Ibu Foundation really wanted to step in and help with that, because it's so important to be able to have some continuity, have some workspace, and have your the women who work with you be able to continue to have their salaries. And I'm so glad at least they can work from home for right now. But we hope to help you find a, a place where you can really live again as a workshop.
Yeah, once you actually start facing such things, which is not very often that you do, once you start thinking about that, it just becomes very difficult. And at the same time, you're trying to understand that those kind of things, working with the government, asking for assistance with the government, I mean, those things don't come together very quickly. So I'm trying to build some patience in myself and telling myself, okay, who told you this is going to happen in a day? Who told you in a month? Even a month. I mean, 3 months already passed, and we're still waiting. We're still asking for help, and something will happen hopefully very soon.
I saw pictures of you working in the dark without the electricity, and that just kind of broke my heart. But we've all been sort of in the dark in a way, and I'm hoping that as we emerge out of this sort of cocoon that we've been in, that we will all see more light and have more light. So I'm hopeful with you.
Thank you. Inshallah.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this partnership and this collaboration that we're doing, because again, I felt really inspired by you, and going through all the designers on Ibu, like all of these women are fascinating and inspirational, but I felt a bit connected to you. I loved your designs, and when I heard that COVID put you in a tough spot, I really wanted to help, and I want to promote you and your designs and get your work out there. And I want us to talk about the piece that you made that I'm going to be wearing soon, that I'm very excited about. Can you tell us a bit more about the dress?
Actually, yes, it's a collaboration with Ibu. I would say they have come up with the pattern. They asked me a while ago, Muhayo, do you have an emerald green with white fabric? And I said, well, I don't have one, but I'm going to make one. I just designed several fabrics. I provided the graphics, and then they selected one or two fabrics. And then I went to the artisans and had them woven. It took a while to get the fabric because it was a pandemic time and everything was very slow. Some of the artisans were not back at work and they were just starting up. So it took us a while to get the fabrics, but finally we got it. And then I showed the actual fabric to Marisa and Susan, and they loved it. And they came up immediately with several designs, and they also wanted to incorporate some black and white. We combined two fabrics there. So the belt is going to feature black and white ikat fabric, and then the other side is going to be the green fabric. I think it came out very beautiful. We're producing those pieces at and I'm loving the actual result. I think once you wear it, I think it just becomes alive. That dress is going to become alive.
Oh, Madison, I can't wait to see you wear this three, the long, short, and the tunic. Yeah. I think the green, which we conceived of last summer, is now that it's coming out. You see it everywhere in the fashion world, which was interesting. I think it's such a color for this time as we come out of the pandemic, and people are craving color and life. And to me, it's all about just growth and new life, and it's just a beautiful, stunning color for this time. So I think you're gonna look fantastic wearing it. I can't wait to see.
I'm so excited, and I'm so honored to be doing this and be getting to wear one of Muhayo's creations. It's honestly an honor, and I'm really excited. And thank you so much again, because I think it's going to be a great collab, and I can't wait to share it with the world.
Thank
I
you.
want to thank you both for just being here, being together, and introducing both of you to each other for the first time, and to know that this will grow, this collaboration, and not just be a one-shot deal, but that we will be able to move it forward and look forward to all the ways we can collaborate, and also to invite your friends and colleagues and followers, Madison, to perhaps support through the nonprofit arm of Ibu, the Ibu Foundation, which can support work for Muhayo and others who are going through this COVID crisis and beyond, because they also give training and supplies, equipment, and all that is needed just to keep artisans in a very sustainable, successful enterprise and women earning their own money. And when that happens, everything changes. You know, the world changes for those women and their families and their communities. And it is such a joy and inspiration for me to be able to see that happening. And in particular with Muhayo and the beautiful women who work with her. So Madison, it's just wonderful to introduce you to this.
Yes,
and I look forward to working with you too as we move forward. And always keep. Yeah.
I'm very excited. And before we go, I would just like to ask one last thing for people who are watching this. How can they help? How can people help Ibu? How can people help Muhayo's business? How are viewers watching this? What can they do?
Well, the first thing they can do is to go to ibumovement.com and look at these fabulous things that Muhayo has made that are we offer for sale, and all of the other artisans' work as well on our website, ibumovement.com. But then we also have a nonprofit arm, weareibu.org, and this is where your donations will really help the women in Muhayo's group to make it through this COVID crisis and beyond, can provide training, support, and tools, supplies, equipment, whatever is needed. We want these women to be able to sustain their businesses and their cooperatives and to be successful. And so Ibu Movement is sort of the arm of offering these garments and items to the world. And weareibu.org is giving them whatever support they need just to get up to that place where they can succeed and sort of level the playing field. So both of those sites, to donate or to purchase something beautiful, to make it a gift to someone, to tell their friends, to follow us on social media, which is at Ibu Movement, both Instagram and Facebook, and to really just join the movement is really what we ask. They can sign up for our emails where we do tell the stories of artisans like Muhayo.
Again, I'm so fortunate for this collaboration, and I cannot wait to make this grow into something even bigger.
Thank you, Madison. You have a very generous heart. We really, really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you for coming up with this idea and for stepping in to support our work, our ladies. It's a great honor to be able to show our work through through you and through Ibu. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much. And we'll speak soon.
Okay. Thanks to everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.